glad you came back this week. How are you all today? Good. I just want to do a little bit of recapping from last week because it was a week ago. And if I have any information wrong, be sure you just let me know because I want to make sure I have everything correct. So my understanding is Cade and Brooke, you guys have been married for 3 years. And Cade, you would like children, but Brooke doesn't. But she said that whenever you guys were engaged, that she told you she didn't want children. And you were under the impression that she wanted them maybe later, but not right then. Can you explain that? I'm having a little hard time understanding where you're at with that. So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Alright, so I feel like that when you go get married, you gotta have kids, like bulls and cows, they gonna have babies.
Okay.
So I figured out Brooke here, she just like to have a kid, because everybody likes a good kid now, so.
Okay. And Brooke, how do you feel about this? Are you still at the point where you don't want children? Because that's my understanding.
Not right now. Maybe when we're both like steady with jobs and like at a decent point in our lives, but not right now because I don't feel like we're steady with our jobs and everything else.
Okay. So Brooke, what I'm hearing from you is that you feel like maybe your financial status isn't what you would like it to be to have children, to be able to support them. Okay, you're ready to go. You would like to have children now. I do have a question. Let's see. This seems to be causing a big issue between the two of you right now. Is that correct? Okay. Well, you made a really good step in coming here, so it doesn't fester in your relationship. When wasn't this a problem? When were you guys not really worried about it?
Before we got engaged, before we thought about it and stuff.
Okay. So before you were engaged, it really wasn't like a thought, like you didn't really think of it much? Okay. Okay, so Cade, on a scale from 1 to 10, how upset does it make you whenever you try to talk to Brooke about it and she says, I don't want children?
10.
A 10? Okay. And Brooke, on a scale from 1 to 10, whenever Cade tries to tell you, with 10 as being the worst, I'm sorry, I should have stated that. Is that still your answer? Okay. And Brooke, whenever Cade tries to talk to you about it, what do you feel on a scale from 1 to 10?
About a 9.
About a 9? Okay. Okay, so Cade, you were at a 10 and you were at a 9. What would need to be changed for you to maybe drop down to a 7? What would that look like?
Where we had kids.
Where you had kids? And Brooke, what about you? To drop that number down to maybe a 7 as well, what would that look like for you?
I guess when we're financially stable and ready for it.
Okay. Okay, so Cade, you think that to bring it down to a 7, you just want to have kids. And Brooke, you're still focused on, being stable. And, both of these are not bad things. They're good things. And they're good concerns to have. So whenever you do try to talk about it, how do you guys cope with it? Is it really angry all the time when you talk about the subject, or is it more civil?
It's civil, but he loses his temper.
Okay. Okay, what is your feeling about that?
I don't think I lose my temper. I think she loses her temper.
Okay. So whenever the conversation is done and over, do you all, hang out in the same room, or do you kind of go away to kind of calm down from the conversation?
Sometimes we depart, sometimes we stay in the same room.
Okay. Okay, so Brooke, for you, this is what we call a miracle question. So it's like, if you were to wake up tomorrow and this whole issue be resolved, what would that look like for you?
Us being financially stable, and then being able to talk about it without nobody getting mad.
Okay. Okay, what about you? What would it look like for you if you woke up tomorrow and the problem was resolved?
Wouldn't be having kids.
Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of recap a little bit. So, I think you both realize that this has kind of been an issue recently. I mean, that's why you're ultimately here. And so what we're going to work on today is developing goals. And what we do is we have what's called a SMART goal. And a SMART goal is it has to be a specific goal, it has to be measurable, it has to be attainable, realistic, and timely. And so this is a way to make sure that we're staying on track and we're not getting off track, and it's moving in the positive direction, not the negative direction. So what would a goal, and it doesn't have to be a big goal, because sometimes big goals are hard to achieve and then it doesn't necessarily end well. So what would you say a specific goal would be for the both of you, do you think?
I guess being able to talk about it and not get mad at each other.
Okay.
Because
Cade,
that seems like an issue for both of us.
are you in agreement with that, Cade?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, and a measurable goal. And this is something not necessarily like, it can be like, okay, how many times do you want to talk about it in 1 week? Do you want to talk about it 5 times, 1 time, 10 times, or something along those lines? So what do you think would be a good goal for that, for the two of you?
2 to 3 times a week.
Okay, is that okay with you, or?
Yeah.
Okay. And if this conversation does escalate into an argument, and you both are upset, what are you guys going to do to not try to let it get there? Leave. Okay, you can leave the room for a few minutes. That's a good idea. And then you can always revisit the conversation later. Okay, and let's see. Now we have attainable. And attainable is talking about, what you want to change. Like, let me see. Okay, we are going to, attainable is like, what do you want to have change? Obviously, our ultimate goal is to be able to talk about this, but maybe more in the future, what would you like to see, like, as a result of these goals that we have, that we're making now?
That we can get along.
Get along? Okay. Okay, and then a realistic goal. So, obviously, okay, you are ready to have children right now, and Brooke necessarily isn't. So that wouldn't necessarily be a realistic goal to, tomorrow have children, because Brooke's not quite ready. So what would be like a smaller goal to have? I know that we discussed, talk about it without getting mad, but then what are some other ways that we could try to work on this? Have you all, talked to your family about it? Does your family know how you feel about the topic? Okay, are they supportive? Are they not supportive?
They're supportive for both sides, but I think they want us to make the right decision.
And so do they have, what they think the right decision is?
They're in the middle with it. They think that he's right, that 3 years of marriage and not have kids, and then they think I'm right, but they just want us to like make the best decision.
Mm-hmm.
So, her thing just, I don't know what it would be. I think giving it a month and then seeing where we're at would be the realistic of it.
That would be a good idea. Giving you, a decent amount of time to be able to have this conversation, daily, weekly.
Yeah. And then going from there.
Okay. Okay, and so that kind of fit in with timeline because we were talking about a month. Okay, so just to kind of, recap a little bit more, talking about the goals that we have. You want to be able to discuss the topic without getting mad and upset. And, you said you can leave the room when you get mad, you can end the conversation. And you said 2 to 3 times a week. I think that's a really good goal to start out with. 2 to 3 times a week is a decent amount, especially because it is like a touchy subject right now. And then maybe later on in the month, if it is getting easier to where you guys are able to talk about it more without arguing and fighting, then, maybe we can bump that number up to maybe 4 to 5 times a week. And that just depends on, how it's going and how you guys feel about that. And, we said, you said to get along, after all this, whether children is a result of this or not, getting along is the important part because you guys are married and you don't want to potentially ruin your marriage because of a topic like this. And taking a month I think is a good idea. So how do you guys feel about it now? Because I know, it is a big subject, we're talking about children. After we developed these goals, how are you feeling about it?
I think I feel a little better about it because now that we're actually going to talk about it and hopefully not get mad, then I feel like it'll be an easier issue to address now, and that nobody will get mad and we can just ease into it and then kind of go from there.
Mm-hmm. And I do want to revisit, just for a few minutes, that, so you were concerned about your financial status. Cade, is that a concern to you? Do you feel like that maybe you guys are in a tight spot right now, or no? Okay. And that's another thing we can talk about as well, because you guys see that in a different side, which isn't a bad thing. But to making sure that we understand where the other person is coming from. Even if you don't necessarily agree, just that we're listening to each other whenever you are discussing about having children in the topic. And so, after these goals that we just talked about, we just formed, do you feel like that this is doable for you guys this week? That you can go home and discuss the topic without getting too upset?
I think so.
Okay. Do you all have any questions for me? Okay. Well, our time is up. I'll have my receptionist set up a time for when you can come back next week. But if there's a pressing issue about, this topic or anything, feel free to call me. If I don't answer, I will call you back as soon as I can. But I want to thank you all for coming today.
Thank you.